about it during our meetings. I think it's going to happen. I don't know when, but I do think that there seems to be a push that direction to want to be able to have the two top teams meet in a championship game and what that would mean. And I think as you just look at the landscape of college football right now, I think that's the direction it seems to be going. At the end of the day, you just want equitable schedules, for everybody. And I think that's what, if you look at the last 8 years, we've had every winner from the Big Ten has come from the East. 4 different teams have won it in that time period. So I just think that's, I can see that definitely being the direction.
What's just the health of the team at this point, basically?
Yeah, I think compared to last year, we lost several guys, unfortunately, during spring ball a year ago, and we came out of spring ball healthy, which was huge. And that's a big part of this. And, we went through and evaluated everything from the offseason a year ago to what we might have done to cause some of those injuries, so we're trying to make some changes with all that. So far that's been very positive. So I'm really excited. Our guys will be coming back here this weekend to be able to get back on campus and ready for the summertime. So excited about our guys, excited about the health of the team and all the new faces.
Who are some guys that missed spring that you expect to be?
Yeah, Tywan Mullen did not practice much. Devon Matthews didn't practice much. Those guys will be back full speed. They're full bore right now. DJ Matthews still come back from his injury from the season. Other than that, we had a guy or two here and there. I know Deshaun McCullough had a postseason thing that he's fine now. So those guys didn't get a lot of full contact reps. They just got a lot of good conditioning work in and got a lot of good technique work in. So, but as far as the overall state of the team, I think everybody right now is ready to roll. We get back here late part of May and ready to have two really full months and then maybe a couple weeks beyond that to get ready for fall camp.
How have you personally processed the difference between the 2020 and 21 seasons, and have you consulted with others about it? Just kind of take us through your own personal processing of that.
Yeah, it was really difficult. I felt for our players. They'd worked so hard, such high expectations for the 21 season. We all know about that. We'll talk those things through in the past. And then to have really, the opposite of what you kind of expected to have happen. And we play in a tough league, and the margin for error is very, very fine. And so you just, you try and go through and you do a lot of self-evaluation about, where we are, what we did, is there anything we could have done to prevent it, all the injuries we had. And, you can't do anything about it. We just play a tough schedule. We get that. We knew that ahead of time. That wasn't any surprise. But you got to find a way to win some of those close games. So you go through and evaluate schematically what you're doing. And so, but at the same time, you fall back on what you are and what you believe in, and you don't alter from that. And so to me, that's been a lot of self-reflection in that regard, and a lot of communication, like you said, talking to other coaches and really talking about the holistic calendar that we're under, and how can we better manage that for our guys to be able to think about not just one part of the year, but the whole calendar of the year and how we approach spring football. We've made changes in that. I think we'll make some further changes, I think, moving forward, even as a probably college football approach it, how we handle fall camp, making some changes there, trying to be able to help our guys, be able to stay healthy through a long season, which is always a challenge, but we obviously seem to have more than normal this past year. But at the same time, we made a lot of changes. We had 20 new players come in January, 10 from high school, 10 from college, and that's a lot of different guys. And we have some more new guys that will be coming here in June. And so we got 5 new coaches. That's a lot of new coaches, So we've had a lot of change this offseason. So with that change, that excites me for new ideas, new things, new ways of doing things, and opportunities for us to get better. So for me, it's really about evaluating what we were doing, making changes from that evaluation, and then pressing on.
Hey, Coach, what is the summer? What position group do you feel is the strongest? What position group do you feel has the most to go heading into the summer?
If I just had to pick one, strength of our team, I would say secondary. Just the number of guys coming back. I know some of those guys got injured a year ago, but those guys will all be back 100% healthy. And just look at the talent back there in the secondary, the experience in the secondary. Definitely one of our strengths. I think, big emphasis has been placed on the offensive line. They got to continue to get better. We know that. But I've really been encouraged by Matt Bedford's leadership growth and physical growth, and same with Luke Haggard and Zach Carpenter, 3 guys that stuck out to me this offseason that needed to. The challenge has been put out to them, and they've responded. But the receiver room is just really, new. A lot of new faces, a lot of new guys that names you may not have heard of in the past, and guys that came in January. Obviously, getting DJ back is going to be huge. But there's several guys at that position to me that I'm excited about, but need to have a great summer. Need to keep developing, need to keep working, and just anxious to see. I'm just excited to get this team back together, and really excited about fall camp.
I guess you talk about the possibility of the Big Ten eliminating divisions. I imagine you've at least thought about it some in your mind. What's the most sensible approach to scheduling if that happens?
I think we've had just very, a lot of conversations about it. Scott Dolson and I have talked about it quite a bit. I think the most sensible thing to do with the size of our conference is to maybe have a couple that you play all the time, to kind of be able to uphold the rivalries. Now, that's a big deal for our conference. There's a lot of really strong rivalries that you want to see continue. And then to be able to just have a rotating schedule to where, if a young man comes to play for Indiana in the course of his career, he will be able to go to every single stadium and play at all those places. There's places that we still haven't played at, since I've been here. So I just think that the bottom line is that you just still have an equitable schedule that they can, and they've given some samples out to us, and for us to be able to see what that would look like and to our administration. So bottom line is that it's very, very feasible. But I do think that it seems to be going the direction of maybe a couple that you would have constantly and you play, no matter what division there would have been in the past, and then you play those 2 teams, and then the rest of them are rotated on an equitable basis.
You see that? You see it staying at 9?
I think so. Yeah, that part I think, and I actually see maybe other. I just like to see us all be the same. I don't control any of that, but I think that would make the most sense, big picture wise. I don't see us going from 9.
Joe Smith is retiring. Your thoughts on just what he's meant to kind of Indiana football?
You know what? I've known him all the way back to even high school. When I was at Ben Davis, we'd come up here and play Bloomington South. And so just appreciate everything he's done. Excited about. I just texted him today. Congratulating him on everything and one final season with the Hoosiers. So just appreciate all he's given to our great sport, all the sports in Bloomington and Indiana, and just another example of a great man that's given a lot of his life to this program.
The other recommendation also was the scholarships. I think we talked about that from 25 to 32. How does it impact a school like yours also?
Yeah, I think that when the decision to remove the cap, that was a big deal, because what was happening was, with obviously the transfer portal, you were losing more than the guys that you could bring back in. So I think it definitely is a common sense adjustment to the transfer portal. We kind of see what I think we're in the midst of some serious changes. Several years I think for our sport and college sports in general, but especially football. So, but I think that was a positive thing, to be able to kind of relieve some of that pressure of being able to replace the young men that might choose to go somewhere else. But it's definitely a lot of things that are happening right now that are pretty significant.
How much time are you spending on the transfer portal, roster management, all this kind of new NIL, all this new stuff?
A lot. It's taken a lot of our focus. It needs to. The roster management piece is intense. I would say it's daily conversation about it. Still bringing guys in this weekend, that would be, potentially with us here in the fall. So that's just not what it's been in the past. But I think that all of those things. You talk about transfer portal, the roster management that's created, and what happened with COVID, what that's created with the extra years, that's definitely a variable that's affecting everything. And then you got NIL, which is a whole other issue that we're dealing with, and a very positive thing for sure, but definitely, challenges without question. So just trying in our conversation, how can we best take full advantage of it, maximize it at Indiana. So yeah, it's definitely, these are all, like I said, there's a lot of significant things that have happened in the last year that are going to be create a lot of change for the future, and I think more change is coming.
We talk about bringing guys in for this week. What are you looking for? What do you want? How much space do you have?
Yeah, we got a few more spots left, not very many. So right now it's very, very selective. I'd say just trying to find a guy that you say, hey, can this guy help us win games in 2022? You know, and you never ever get away from, does he fit with our program's culture? That's priority number one. And that's, you know, I feel good about the guys that we've already brought in mid-year and the guys that will be joining us here in June. But these last few spots we have, you know, you're just really trying to make your team deeper and better, you know, and add more speed, add more guys that can help us, you know, rush the passer. I would say that's an emphasis for sure. And then you're always, you know, I don't think you can ever go wrong with can a guy be a dynamic player on offense, you know. And then if you find an offensive lineman that you can bring in to help you, you know. So those would be, if I had to pick three areas, that would be the three things I'd be focused on.
So you look for, so to put that in positions, you'd basically be looking for edge rusher, offensive lineman, and offensive skill guy.
Yeah.
How was your new?
Transfer portal.
Well, we do, and it's our head guy. I mean, Lee Wilbanks. I mean, that guy, he's on that thing nonstop. But we're in the process of wanting to grow, you know, into that. The NFL has they have a division of pro scouting, a division of college scouting, and I think that's what we are turning into. We're going to have a division of college scouting and a division of high school scouting, you know, and so we're going to mirror that look. We haven't got to that structure yet. I want us to go that direction, yes. Right now we have to take the guys we got and maximize it. So, but Lee would be, he's my portal guy.
How is your new quarterback adjusting to being a culture?
Yeah, I tell you what, so Connor's come in here in January, which that's always a huge thing to get guys in here at that time of the year, to be able to be with us all spring. The 8 weeks of workouts prior to spring football, and obviously spring football, and then now you obviously go into spring with understanding what it's all about here, what's it like to be a student here, and then you got your relationship with your teammates, and then now you can build off of that schematically during the summertime. So I think he's really done a great job. Excited for him to compete for that spot, you know, with the other guys in that room, and it's highly competitive, and that's what I want, and that's what makes us all better, and I'm excited about that room. You know, a year ago at this time, we had one guy on scholarship that was healthy in the quarterback room at the end of spring football. So completely different this year. That's a huge thing. We got to keep those guys healthy, obviously, but their development is huge. The quarterback play a year ago wasn't near to our standard of what we need to be able to be successful in our conference, and so that's a big deal for us. Awesome. Appreciate it. Leo.
Thanks, Coach.